Surah 106. This little surah, though rhythmic in style, is uncertain in rhyme. It must either be very early or very late. More probably early, it is an appeal to the Quraysh to worship the Lord of this house, i.e. the Kaaba, in gratitude for the commercial prosperity. There are other indications in the Quran that gratitude for benefits was the basis of Muhammad's early appeals, and the designation of Allah as Lord of the Kaaba would hardly have been used after Muhammad began to attack idolatry, so long as the Kaaba remained the center of it. No, because throughout the idea was that the Kaaba was not the center of the idolatry. It's just something was done there, right? It was done all over the place. So, yeah. Surat Quraysh, chapter the Quraysh. So the Quraysh, the main tribe inhabiting Mecca, to Yemen and Syria, respectively, their winter and summer journeys. The Kaaba, the holy house of Mecca, the Lord of the house. The neighboring Mecca, the neighborhood of Mecca is sterile, so that the town depended on trade, and now it depends on pilgrimage. Well, it always, depended on pilgrimage, but Muhammad stopped the professional worshiper sort of thing, and the soothsayers and the idols and all such, that stopped with Islam. Although now I'm sure the Saudis pay a lot of money to people leading the prayers, but secure against fear, war and bloodshed were forbidden there. Surah 97, 107. Sorry, not used to. This short surah is probably a unity, cannot be early. Whether it is to be regarded as Medinan is doubtful. Ahrens hold the latter part to be so on account of his reference to people who were negligent with regard to prayer. The whole surah may in fact hit at lukewarm supporters in Medina, and some Muslimin interpreters held. Surat al-Ma'un, chapter of Suwar. Okay, religion, judgment, system of judgment, yeah. Those who pray, a designation at the stage of Muhammad's followers. 70, verse 22. And withholding succor, ma'un, probably derived from the Hebrew ma'an, refuge, but modified with the meaning of the Arabic root. It is usually interpreted as referring to the zakat or sadaqah, whatever small kindness there is, really. But those who pray, see, no, it wasn't cursing the followers, the people who are acting like they were followers, that are hypocrites, that are not really performing it right, not putting their mind into it, right? That was the problem. Surah 108. This looks like a fragment, but it's difficult to find a suitable context for it. If you're going to ignore the narrations, the rhyme might indicate a position in 74 after 39 that, however, necessitates a fairly early date, and the reference to sacrifice is difficult to explain unless we were prepared to assume that Muhammad continued to take part in the heathen rites in Mecca. No, well, the heathen as in, material culture or whatever, but no, he didn't. There's no evidence that Muhammad ever took part in the polytheists or the conservative people, the book religion. Is like off its own. There was a little, worship God and try to be good to people. That was not really much to make of it until the revelation come. Otherwise, it seems necessary to assume the surah is Medinan, if any case it's encouragement to the prophet under insult. The abundance, al-Kawthar, for the root meaning many, interpreted as meaning much wealth, and others referring to the number of his followers. And again, we take the word as the proper name of a river or pool in paradise. The docked one, the mutilated, having his tail cut off, probably in the sense of having no son. The word is presumably applied to Muhammad's by an enemy. Actually, not a lot more than presumably applied, but Surah 109, This is the declaration of complete severance from the old Arab religion. The date is uncertain. It's probably not early. It's said to be the prophet's answer to an offer by the Meccans to follow him if he would worship, well, not more than respect, that he'd worship their God sometime and he'd worship their God, and that sort of thing, which is likely enough. The passage is not rhymed unless we assume that it is consisted originally of verse 1, 2, 6 only, and that 3 of 5, which really added nothing to the sense, have been added later to strengthen the statement by repetition. That's hardly probable. Surat al-Kafirun, chapter the unbelievers, in the name of the law. No further comment there. Surah 110. The surah in which the prophet contemplates the coming success is certainly Medinan. Some make it refer to the conquest of Mecca. That, however, is probably too late. It's more likely to be early Medinan al-Fath, referring not to the conquest of Mecca, but to Badr. If it refers to any definite event and is not simply an expectation, the surah is probably earlier than the beginning of 48, which has some relation. Surat an-Nasr, the chapter of help. So the clearing up is the conquest, used in the sense of something which will clear up a doubtful situation. 32:28.